Linda's message is as welcome as a good belly laugh and as profound as an honest look in the mirror. Get ready to be energized. Please join me in welcoming from Kelowna, BC, Linda Edgecombe.
I'm on. Well, I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I heard the rally. I looked out my window from my room upstairs. This is great because I'm flashing, but I'll come back. Right? Dual purpose. And pretty feisty. I had no idea you were doing this today. I think it's fantastic. My mom was a nurse. I came out of high school in '78 with Mr. Sebastian. We were in school together, middle school. Drank a few beers in someone's basement a couple of times back in the day in the '70s. But anyways, I applied to become a nurse. And I didn't make it past the immunization. I passed out. I said, okay, forget it. I'll just go into something else. But my mom was very feisty, and I really, really appreciate anybody who stands for something. And I'm opinionated and all those things. But anyways, here we are, and I'm going to talk about a few things with you today. My favorite inspirer of my life was Gloria Steinem. And I literally jumped on the bandwagon about 1976 because I had a really great biology teacher. And grade 12 came into my grade 10 science class one day and said, hey, we're doing a blood bank today. Does anybody want to donate blood? And I said, yes. And they said, oh, sorry, because in 1976, if you were a female, you couldn't donate blood because you weren't an adult yet, but boys could. And I got pissed off. And I said that, so I started reading Gloria Steinem, and like it says here, the truth will set you free, but first it's going to tick you off. No, I don't want to tick you, well, I kind of want to tick you off. I do, because the only way we ever actually change anything is when we get a little mad. But I want to tell you some truth. So that introduction of mine is pretty beefy. It's just the highlight reel. I wrote it. It sounds like it's third person, I wrote it. That's true. Everyone in this room has a great highlight reel. We all do. Everything on that introduction is the truth. And the only way I can even allow myself to even hear it every time I get to come on stage is that I have a lot of lowlights. Those are all my highlights. I have a lot of lowlights. See, there's not one person in this room today. Nobody has it together. We all have a lot of highlights and we all have a lot of lowlights. And I'm going to be probably transparent, painfully transparent with you today. So I want to set you free. So here we are. And thanks for coming back. I'm actually shocked because I get it, some of you are prisoners today. In every audience there's prisoners. There's prisoners. You got to be here. In every audience there's a few keeners. And in every audience there's a few vacationers. Right? So what I want to do is I want to move the prisoners to vacationers and vacationers to keeners. That's what I want to do. So here we are at the 30,000-foot level of your life. For the next hour with me, 30,000-foot level. That's where up here you can do anything. Anything is possible up here. That's where all your ideas come from, all your creativity comes from. Everything is up here, 30,000-foot level. No wrong answers, right? So there's no wrong answers when you're being creative, but marriage is a whole other conversation. So who in this room is currently in a relationship? Let's go there first. I'm not saying you're happy, I'm just saying you're in a relationship. It's a lot of work. My husband and I have been together 32 years, and we don't even give each other anniversary gifts anymore. We go to the drugstore, we stand there in front of the cards and go, if I was going to buy you a card, this is the one I'd buy you. I mean, you save $10. Buy yourself a cheap bottle of wine. What the hell? So I want to give the gentlemen in this room, because you work in a profession with a lot of estrogen, don't you? Yes, you do. I want to give the gentlemen in this room the takeaway gem from this entire conference you've been at of what a wrong answer looks like in relationships with women. So in my business, basically I spend more time in airports and on airplanes than anything else I do. That's literally, I've flown to Australia to speak for an hour. So more time in airports and on airplanes than anything else that I do. And I was in Edmonton, and I was flying off to Campbell River because I'm going to go to Painter's Lodge to speak. And I don't know about you, but I'm a people watcher. Are you people watchers? I love people watching. I like making up stories in my head. It's always wrong, but I love that. And I was in the airport waiting to get on the plane, and there's this lady over here, and she's loud and she's chatty. Now, I'm loud and chatty, so I don't really care, but she's loud and chatty, and she's chatting with these two younger, very attractive younger ladies beside her. So I start what I call the airport energy. That's where you're scanning the room, not beside me, hopefully not beside me, right? And then you say, where are the babies, right? And of course, law of attraction, where does she end up sitting? Right beside me. I'm in the middle seat. I hate the middle seat. On this side of me, there's a gentleman. He's sleeping. There's me. There's her. And she keeps chatting quite loud with the two ladies that she was sitting with before on the other side of the aisle from her. Now, I noticed, though, that these ladies were wearing Okanagan cider t-shirts. I'm thinking, well, hell, I'm from the Okanagan. Maybe they're all from the Okanagan. So I tap her on her arm. I go, so you're all from the Okanagan? And she chimes up, oh, hell no. She says, we work for Playboy. And this gentleman beside me who was sleeping just woke up. Really? And I'm going, you fake sleeper. You could literally see necks on the plane as if they're being pulled up by a crane, and everyone's now checking out the girls. She goes, no, we were down at West Edmonton Mall, and now in my head I'm going, where the hell do you take the conversation from here? What do you say think about this. What would you want to say to a woman who just told you they're all from Playboy? Do you have any HR issues? Like, really, what do you ask them? Who cleans the pool? I mean, really? A couple of you got that one. Anyway. She says, what do you do? I said, well, I'm a speaker. I said, I'm heading off to do this one full-day leadership conference. I'm speaking to a highways company. It's going to be guys. It's going to be dudes. It's going to be mucho macho men. I said, I've never done a room of all guys before. And she goes, you never done a room of all guys before? And I'm like, no! That is not what I meant. Could you bring it down? This is Canada. I said, no, I've never spoken to just all men. I said, I'm a little nervous right now because it's the first time for me doing that. And she goes, that is cool. She says, I'm part of the editorial team at Playboy. She says to me, I think I might want to do an article on you. And I thought, oh, hold on, Linda, because back in the day, 1976, I became a card-carrying glorious Steinem feminist. I thought, who gives a shit? I'm going to Playboy. Because this is not getting there any other way. I'm pretty clear, okay? Anyways, we exchanged cards and off I went. Now, of course, I got to get to the hotel. I've got to call my husband, Kevin, and tell him the great news. So I'm like, oh, you wouldn't believe it, but I might even get an article in Playboy. And he says, that's great. He says, can I be there for the photo shoot? I said, Kev, they're not going to be taking pictures of me. He goes, well, I know that. Yeah. And ladies, that's what we call the what? That is the wrong answer. So, gentlemen, here's the takeaway gem for the entire conference. Don't always tell us the truth, right, ladies? We already know the truth, don't we? And a happy wife is a what? Happy life. Or she's delusional. That's one of them, too. I just saw this truck outside. I don't know if anybody, I took a walk at lunch and went outside. I was at a conference last June, and the owner of this company was in the room. Lucky me. I had this slide comes up. I love this. This is the back of a stationary truck, and it says, are you happy? Yes. Well, keep doing what you're doing. Are you happy? No. Here's the key. Do you want to be? That is a very legitimate question. Do you want to be? And although most of us say yes, no, we don't. Because if we wanted to be, we would stop telling the same story over and over and over and over and over. You know what I'm talking about, right? The story. Why do we gather our friends? Because they support our case. Oh, I agree with you. Yes, you're right. That's what our good friends do, don't they? But what does a really good friend do? They call you on your crap. When they've heard that story over and over and over and over, do you want to be happy? Yes, you're going to have to change something. Really hard to do, let me tell you. No? Well, keep doing what you're doing. You know what a really, really, really good friend does? They also tell you when you're no longer cute after you've had too much wine. Someone should have told me that last night. That's what I'm going to tell you. Had a little bit too much wine last night. So, I don't know about you, but as I look around this room, I know there's a real variety of ages in this room, but there's quite a few of us who are northwest of 35, right? A few people northwest of 35? Right. So what do you do in your careers when you wake up 1 day, 5 days, 10 days, 20 days? It happens all the time. Oh, I just don't want to go in today. I just can't do it again today. I've had 5 full heart, I'm done. And believe me, I'm a Leo and I'm an egomaniac, and this is a very happy place for me to be. I love being on stage. But I've had full 5 times, I'm done. What do? How do you get your mojo back when you've lost the love for this crazy thing we call a career? Well, I believe you got to shake things up a little bit. You got to start doing things you haven't done before. You got to start reading things you've never read before. You've got to watch things, hang out with people, try something different. Shift it up to change the energy. So ladies in this room, what are we really good at? Yes, I know it's shopping, but it's not shopping. We're really good at multitasking. That's not it either. We're really good at judging each other. Oh, yeah. You've already sussed me up and down. You've got your assumptions, all that jazz. I get it. I don't know if I would have wore that hat last night. I got it, right? We're really good at judging. Men are good at it too, but we are really good at it. But when we're judging other people, who are we actually judging? Ourselves. It's literally one of the harshest things we do to ourselves is judge other people. So if you can turn your judgment into curiosity, so if let's say I say something, maybe I've already said something that offends you, which I know can't, because the first time I ever spoke to nurses, by the way, you are absolutely hands down the best audience ever. I'm telling you, no, I'm not even blowing smoke where you're not supposed to blow it. I am telling you, 25 years I've been on stage doing this thing. The absolute hands down best audience ever is you. You know why? The first time I ever spoke to a nurses conference was many, many years ago. I said, so how left to center can I take my humor? And the lady who had booked me said, you go so far left that you're right. That's all I needed is permission, right? So if you can turn your judgment, catch yourself in judgment, to curiosity, why is that bugging me? You are going to be so much kinder to yourself. The most successful people I've ever come across in all these years, and thousands and hundreds of thousands of people now, are folks who are just very self-aware. What does that mean? That means that you know what you've got going on that you're really, really good at, but you also know what you've got going on that you have no idea what you're doing, but you're okay to admit it all. Curiosity. If you want to create an incredible life for yourself, you have to do it leading with a whole lot more curiosity and a lot less fear. The fear is exhausting. So go to, why is that bugging me? Or, why do I agree with that? So how are you doing? Really? Right? You know what the most common answer to that question is? Geez, I don't know. So when you ask somebody, you came into this conference, some of you Sunday, some of you Monday, how are you doing? What do we normally say? Fine. We say fine. Fine is number one. Fine and good are both the same, but we say fine. You know what fine is? Fine is a great excuse. Actually, the person asking the question doesn't really want the answer. You don't want to give it either. So we say fine because it keeps us right here at a flat line. Fine, 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 fine. Now, what's the second most common answer to that question? How are you doing, really, considering all the stuff you got going on? These days? Whoa, wow. Busy. Busy, busy, busy. Holy crap, am I busy. Right? And you know that? If you're northwest of 35, we created busy. Because our parents weren't like this. They weren't. When you were a kid and you wanted to get somewhere, how'd you get there? Walk, biked, or bus, depending on where you grew up. My dad didn't even know where my schools were. I'm not kidding. He was never at them, barely made grad. That's Roger, right? And look at us now. Wow, you know why? And by the way, busy has become number one answer. Fine has actually become number two. Because when we say busy, we get way better response and feedback for busy than we do fine. Wow, look at all the stuff you got going on. You got the kids going here, you got the kids going there. They're in 3 sports, 2 arts classes, and Taekwondo to boot. Then there's fundraising. Who in this room? Okay, you've been at an entire fundraiser this entire time you've been. But who in this room has tickets for something else in their pocket right now they need to sell? Come on, hands up. Let's see. Hands up. Buy tickets off these people. It's a lot of work. How do you do it? That's what we hear. That's amazing. So what's all that feedback feeding? Our egos. We think we're feeling great about ourselves when we're getting our egos stroked because we're so busy. When in fact, we turn into some of the most unhappy, not very creative, and exhausted folks on the planet. So, last year I did a TED Talk on my book, Breaking Busy. And when you do a TED Talk, TED, the franchise, they want to actually research, not just Linda Edgecombe's opinion research. And so I had to go on looking for anything I could find. Like, how had we become this? How had I'm pretty self-aware. How could I have become this thing? How could I get this angry? How could I be this dissatisfied? How could I become this overweight? All this stuff, so unenergized. And I stand up here and tell you guys how to get a better life. I was so full of it. So I went looking. So I found a research project out of the University of Virginia. Timothy Wilson was the researcher. He did this little experiment in the psychology department and had people come into a room with nothing, no windows, nothing, no stimulants, just a chair and a table, and sit there for 20 minutes and come out and tell me how that felt for you. But he had a box on the table with a little bit of electrical current attached to the box, and if you wanted out early, you could zap yourself and get out of there early. And it hurt, but it didn't harm you. So guess the percentage of people that zap themselves to get out early? Over 85%. The only people who stayed in the room were women. Not sure what that means, maybe having a nap, who knows, right? Probably nurses, right? But what he concluded is we'd rather harm ourselves than be alone with our own thoughts. That's how bored we've become. Because we check and we check and we check and we check, and most of you have probably checked since I've been here. You're checking right now. We check and we check. No one's giving me any hearts. Nobody wants you. Bored. You'll appreciate this one. World Health Organization says that the average high school student, so if you have young people in your lives between the ages of, let's say, 17, 18, 19, up to about 22, 23, second, third year university, those young people these days are experiencing the exact same levels of anxiety that the average patient did on the wards in hospitals in the 60s. Hospitalized for that amount of anxiety. And it gets even better on this project. Guess where that energy's coming from? The parents. So when I read that one, I said, I had to become responsible for the energy I was bringing into my own house. Because I have two of those people in my life, a Chloe and a Josie, right? I had to check my energy. And then there's this research project. A very nice Photoshop photo of my cute husband and I. Sometimes you wish you could just Photoshop your life. I'm telling you, from the outside looking in, we got it going on. Oh, we do. We got 2 kids, 2 dogs, a cat, and a fish that won't die. We own 10 acres, orchards. We got every toy you can imagine. Not just one dirt bike, one for all of us. Not just one sled, one for all of us. Not just a boat for Okanagan Lake, but one for the ocean. And I'm not telling you this because I'm bragging. But when you have all that stuff, what does that mean you have a lot of? Yeah, debt. And when you have a lot of debt, what else do you have a lot of? Massive amounts of stress. And 2 years ago, he fell off the second floor of one of his buildings. Now, I married a builder. Is anybody else ever married to a builder? Has anybody ever slept with a builder? Spring, shirts are coming off. Well, probably not anymore. Work Safe BC took care of that. Anyway. Just kidding. I just spoke for Work Safe BC. I'm just making this up. Not really. But he fell off the second floor of one of his buildings. He shattered his pelvis, broke his back, ruptured lung, or spleen, whatever. But he didn't hit his head, and he didn't kill himself. And you know this. I mean, that's what you're fighting for today is post-traumatic stress. Once we figured out he didn't kill himself, he didn't hit his head, and over the next few days, I literally got pissed off. And I realized that when someone gets hurt or gets injured or gets sick in our lives, it doesn't just hurt the person that it hurts. That stress goes far and wide. That shrapnel goes far and wide. And over the next 3 months, because of course he came home and he didn't have a little bell, ding-ling-ling, I need something, ding-ling-ling. No, he got a foghorn app on his phone. That's what I heard. I'm gonna freaking kill him. And over the next 3 months, I completely unraveled into complete deep depression. And I'd been there before, so I know what that felt like. I knew I was going there. And one morning, about 2.5 months in, I came up to the kitchen counter. I tapped on the counter. I said, okay, family, because the kids were at the eating counter. Kevin's in his lazy boy by this point. I said, I want off. I don't want out, but I got to figure this out. Because I can't stand up here and totally BS you anymore. You didn't spend 4 days coming to this thing so I could stand here and tell you, get a great life when I am full of it. I had to go and figure this out. So I found a couple of products to help save some time in the day. Look at this. The Bathe and Brew Shower Coffee Maker Soap Dispenser. Is that not the best? I actually took that photo in a coffee shop in Kelowna, yeah. Cut your morning routine in half. You had me at that one, right? And there's probably 10 of you going, that's awesome. I love that. Yeah, if you love that one, you're going to love this one. Look at this one. The wine rack. Oh, yes. Now you can drink while you work out. It's fantastic. I actually own one of these myself, and I can tell you it does hold an entire bottle of wine, and when you're done that wine, you just go like this. Boom, and you're back. Whatever size. Way more fun and cheaper than a boob job. Oh, by the way, gentlemen, don't get despaired here. There's also one called the Beer Belly. It just holds more volume, okay? You can wear that to the next outdoor concert you go to. All right. So what's your energy like? Best thing these guys did is put that big song on at 2:30 in the afternoon after 4 days of being here. What's your energy like, right? All we are is energy. You know, the worst thing for me to do is to stand up on the stage. Because I realized 25 years ago, if I actually walked into the crowd, it shifts the energy. It does. People get drawn, you can feel it. All we are is energy. But I want you to think about, when's the last time you put in a really good day? I mean, you felt like, man, I got some good stuff done today. And on the drive home from that day, you still had honest, pure, residual energy that wasn't caffeinated or adrenaline-driven. Because we know how to, do you not know how to pull up adrenaline? Oh, we do. We're good at that. What happens when you pull up adrenaline all the time? You friggin' crash. And burnout is burnout is burnout. Not just I'm tired, I'm burnt out. When your adrenal glands are burnt out. So how do you manage energy? How do you manage energy in your home? Where does everybody party when they come to your house? In the kitchen. Why? Because it's got the best energy. Doesn't matter how big or how small that place is. That's all a house should be, is a kitchen, a bathroom, and a bedroom. That's it. Because everybody goes there. What's your energy like? So what's your energy like when you've had a tough day? Right? Where does the energy of a tough day land? Think about this. At the end of the day, where does the energy of a tough day land? On who? Usually your family at the end of the day. Who has kids in this room? Lots of us. How many of you are better parents in public? You all are. I'm really good in public. I got the smile. Get in the car. Oh, hi, Joan. Yeah. Get in the car. Yeah. Right? You want to know why we have kids, by the way? We have kids because they're the biggest character builder we could have ever not wanted. We have kids because they're going to be the mirror standing in front of you calling you on your crap when you don't want to hear it. Our kids actually see us more than anybody sees us, even our spouses, and they still love us. Yeah, they are the absolute best and the absolute worst of us. And my Chloe is 23, my Josie is 21, and when Chloe was 16, and isn't that a beautiful age? I could have kicked her down a couple flights of stairs, but apparently that's illegal. But when she was 16, of course, I don't know about you, but I have what I call the witching hour. That's the first hour of each morning where you get yourself up, get the breakfast going, get the kids going, get the lunch made, get out the door, get in the bus! Is it just me? Okay, so I'm doing the witching hour, but I was going downtown Kelowna to speak this day, so I'm in a bit much more of a fluff. And Chloe goes, Mom, she's 16, are you always this cranky before you have to be motivational? Yeah. Because, you know, the truth is not always beautiful. You call yourself a nurse. You can't take care of this family. Right? I got to have that one on the mark. You must have been called on that one. You're not a very kind person to me. My mom was the toughest flipping. When my mom was passing away, I got to tell you, you got to find the humor when your heart's breaking, but she was so pissed off. She went down fighting, and at one point, these beautiful nurses are trying to help her. She was down to really light, like she had no weight left on her, just bones, and she's giving them shit for something. Like, when I was a nurse, I could move a 300-pound person. She goes, you need to read a book. I'm like, Mom, they're trying to be really... She was a nurse. Oh, they go, I got it. So let's go back to the other F word. Now, on your tables, there is a one-page handout. It's called the Alive Audit. And I really, please, just humor me. I want you to do the Alive Audit with me. Find it. I know they're on the table somewhere. Because I want you to stop using the word fine. You got it? Okay, if there's someone beside you, do it with them. I want you to give yourself a grade for every one of those things on the Alive Audit. I want you to figure out how alive you're feeling. Okay? You got literally 60 seconds. Don't overthink this. Rating out of 10. Don't judge yourself. This is just a snapshot. And the hard part is you got to do the math, because I want to talk about the numbers. Okay? Give yourself a rating. "30 seconds. Bring out your phones if you need them for the math. Add them up, add them up, add them up. All right. Keep adding them up. I'm going to keep talking. So, for the last year and a half, I've been doing this audit. I've done other things over the years, but I want you to have a snapshot. You already know intrinsically right now what areas of your life need a little time and attention. You know that already. But when I did this, so last year when I was in the audience with the Lukey guy, I was in what's called the EO conference. These are entrepreneurs who own big businesses across the country. Money for them was not the issue. They had lots of it. But their averages that day were about 32. Now, the averages normally are a little higher than that. So whatever your numbers are, don't panic. I'm going to show you what they mean to me. So if you scored 0 to 40, you got a couple of areas that are probably good, but you're actually quite low in most of them. All right? You don't have a whole lot of satisfaction going on right now. If you scored 40 to 60, you're the average across the board. Every organization, every profession, every income bracket. Most people level out between 48 and 50, 51 maybe. If you're 60 to 80, you're doing pretty good in a lot of areas, but there's a couple that really need some time and attention. And if you're above 80, when you wake up in the morning, your feet hit the ground, you wake up with an intention that day. You're mindful that you're going to have an intentional, great day. You probably have a process and a practice that you do every day. So your practice would be you start your day intentionally with something that really sets you up for a great day. That could be journaling, that could be reading, that could be just making the best friggin' cup of coffee you've ever had, and you enjoy it every sip. You just don't just blast into the shower, you actually wake up with intention. And when you go to bed at night, you also have a practice, that how you unwind and unpack the day. And during the day when life happens, when caca hits the fan, which it does lots of days, you have a process of how you actually deal with that. Whether you dial a friend, whether you journal about it, whether you call somebody, or you have somebody at work that you can go to download when life happens. That's how people who score really high live their every day like that. So whatever your numbers are, don't panic. But if there's an area in your life that right now you know needs a little time and attention, I want you to write that down. This is how simple life is. We have things in our head. Write down which one of these areas you want to put some time and attention to. Actually write it down. Pen to paper. The power is in pen to paper. Jot it down. And if you really want the power, turn to the person beside you and tell them which area you want to work on, even if it's sex. Okay? The power is you have ideas in your head, you write them on paper, and you tell somebody. It makes it real. All right, we're moving on. So the only thing worse than not feeling fully alive is what? Pretending. So stop pretending. If, by the way, you're having a fantastic day and someone says, "How you doing?" You tell them, "I'm having a fantastic day." Do you know that we normally want to go lower than the next person? We're so comfortable with that as Canadians. If you're up here, you want to make other people feel bad. You want to say, "Oh, I'm having the greatest day ever." But if you're having a crap day, claim it. Now, if you have a crap day every day, might want to look at that. But just stop saying fine. Just stop pretending that you're fine if you're not. So when's the last time you did something for the first time? What I really want you to think about here is, how old are your stories? You know your stories, right? The stories that we rehash with our good friends whenever we get together are stories. Right? Remember? 88? Oh, I do. It was a good summer. Anybody else have an 88? There's got to be someone who had an 88. Yes. And there's probably a couple 78s in the room. Good year? Yes. Probably somebody in 98s. Where are the 20-year-olds in this room? Who's in their 20s in this room? 20-year-olds, hands up. I want to see the 20-year-olds in this room. Yes. Okay. Here's the best advice the rest of us could ever possibly give you if you're in your 20s right now. You have to go out and create some really good stories right now. Because you're going to be rehashing them for 50 years. So they got to be good. You know, "Oh, I went to the BC Nurses Union Convention and I took my wine back to my room." No. Naked maybe, but not just that. So why? Literally this question, when's the last time you did something for the first time, has been my hallmark marketing question for my entire career. How old are your stories? I've been asking this question for almost 25 years. And up to a couple of years ago, I was full of it. Because I get to do a lot of cool things in my career, but I don't mean that kind of a story. That's my work. That's a privilege. People pay me. I mean, when's the last time you scared yourself? You dared yourself? You tried something you'd never tried before just because it's kind of there niggling at you? You want to know why stories? Stories of your life are your game changer. The only thing we've had since we've been on the planet is story to story to story to story. That's what we've had. But the only reason we're on the planet is not for the work that we do. It's so that we connect to each other. And the only way you connect to each other is through stories. I got to know something about you. But the only way that actually happens is we have to kind of open up a bit and become a bit more vulnerable. Right? I got to know something about you, because when you do that, that's why we have our lifelong friends that we do. You know why? Because you have so much material on them, you have to stay friends. You got to open up. You know this. You're professionals at this. Give a little bit of you, I give a little bit of me. Now, if you're the kind of person who holds your cards close to your chest where you don't give a lot out, open up a bit, because you're exhausting. You are. I mean that from a heartfelt place. I got to know, you love dogs? I love dogs. You lost a parent? I just lost a parent. I want to know something. And then I'm in. I'm all in. That's how all humans are. So literally, up until a couple of years ago, I hadn't done much. But I've been telling people, go create new stories. Full of it. And I was sitting in my hotel room, which I do a lot, and I do this. I watch movies. I love movies. Who's seen this movie, The Way? Has anybody in the room walked the Camino? Is there anybody in the room who's walked the Camino? Yay, one pilgrim. 2 pilgrims. I never have any. That's what they call you when you walk the Camino. Has anybody heard of the Camino? Yes, lots of people. So this is a beautiful movie. I'm watching this. I'm like, that's in my wheelhouse. I've got to go and do this. Because remember, I just done this. I knocked on the counter and said, I want off. And I see this movie. I'm like, that's it. I'm going to figure me out. I'm going to walk the Camino. And I'm going to figure me out. Yeah, I kind of missed the point. So I went obsessive. I don't know if the people have walked. I obsessed. I read everything I could read. I watched everything, every documentary. I talked to anybody who'd ever done it. And I went crazy about it. Now, I missed a couple little pieces of research. Number one, what's the weather like in the month of March when you walk in the rainiest part of Europe? And number two, how many people actually walked the Camino at that time? Because I insisted on going by myself. No tours, no people, just me and my backpack. Well, apparently nobody walks the Camino at that time of year in the rain, and I had a few goals. Number one, I was hoping I was going to meet a new friend. Have you ever thought that? I want to meet a new friend. I want to make a new friend. That's a really odd thing when you're 57 years old. I want to meet a new friend. I never met a person, so I didn't make any friends. I was hoping. I'm walking 25 to 40 kilometers a day. I'm hoping I'm going to lose a pound. Not one. You will see why in just a second. And number three, I don't know about you, but I have a pretty loud critical voice in my head. Sometimes she's really loud. I call her Hagdalinda. And I was hoping that I'd like myself more by the time I finished that sucker. And that took way longer than I expected, actually. But off I went, and you get a passport, and you get that passport stamped everywhere you go, of course. And the first 4 days of this walk, it was like walking in a postcard. It was like fantastic. It's Europe. I mean, it's right. The trails were great. The sun was out. It was 24 degrees. I'm going, this is going to be. Now I trained. So the first day up and over the Pyrenees, it's crazy hard, whatever. But what I wasn't noticing the first day is what? There's nobody there. I don't even notice that yet. So what do? I take my first selfie, which turns into hundreds of them later. That actually turned into the cover of my book. And I stayed at my first hostel, you know. It's like an albergue, that's what they call it. If this was like an IKEA commercial. There's a boys' bathroom and a girls' bathroom. I'm going, wow, this is fantastic. Well, it was the last one the whole trip. When you're in Europe, you just got to get used to, I guess, showering next to 20-year-old German guys. I don't know. But I was still full of piss and vinegar the next day. Only 790 to go. And then within 4 days, the wind came up, and the wind and the rain and the snow and the wind and the rain and the snow. And every day was wind and rain and snow. And I had to have a little talk with myself because I'm pissed off. Number one reason why I didn't lose a pound. Why? Because my cortisol levels were so high because I was so stressed the whole time I missed the point completely because I was so mad. It was so ugly out. So I thought, I got to get more grateful. I've got to think, okay, I'm really happy I've got Gore-Tex boots on. Why? Because they're waterproof, which means they don't what? They don't breathe. So what do you get? I lost all my toenails, blisters, the whole thing, which is also great. You know why? Because the pain from your feet distracts you from how boring it is for about 5 days as you walk across Saskatchewan. Because when you can see 28 kilometers ahead of you and you know it's going to take you 8 hours to get there and there's no one to talk to except yourself in your own head, boring. And my biggest fear as a traveler, I don't know about you, but I was, where are we going to go to the bathroom? Where are we going to go to the bathroom? Any freaking where I wanted to. Because there's not a satellite didn't know I was out there. I didn't need a tree, a bush, a bale of hay, nothing. I just went anywhere I wanted to go, right? Number 2 reason why I didn't lose a pound is because wine was $1.19 a bottle. I know. It's actually euros, so let's say it was $2 a bottle. Big deal. And it's good wine. The most expensive wine there was €12. Big deal. But it's even better than that. It's actually free. It's actually free. I'm not saying that was great wine, but, I call home to my mom and she said, put a little ginger ale in. It's like a sangria. I'm like, okay, Ma. Kind of was. But when you're still wet and it's 8 a.m. in the morning from the day before, are you going to have water? Are you going to have wine? I chose wine. But I did call home. My dad has never once been on a computer. My mom's on the phone. She's like, your dad's been asking. Not that she talked like this, but I like to say, your dad's been asking, how does he find you on the WW? I'm like, it's actually not called the WW, but okay, get him on the phone. He goes, he says, you'd be so proud. He goes, I went down to the AMA. I got a map of Spain. He says, I've been following you with a ruler. I went, oh, that's just the sweetest thing ever. He says, you must be so proud. I said, I'm almost done, Dad. I'll be there in about an hour and a bit. I said, and it's a big deal. If you've seen the movie, it's a big deal when you finish this sucker. I mean, you come in front of that cathedral, it is high fives, it is tears, hugs, all that, except it was not for me because it was pouring rain and there was nobody there. And I went and bought another bottle of wine, commiserated by myself. And literally the next day the sun came out. Literally, I am not shitting you. And it stayed out for 6 weeks. I watched it. I was so mad. And then I was complaining to a colleague, and he's a big adventure guy, and he says, Linda, I tell my students this all the time. First the work, then the lessons. First the work, then the lessons. You don't know when the lessons are going to come. So right now, some of you, probably most of us in this room, are in some work. The work can be in your work. The work can be in your relationships. The work can be in yourself. The work can be in your parenting of your children. The work could be with your aging parents. You're in some work. If you're in some work right now, I just want to tell you, I just got shivers. Oh, wow, that's funny. Lean into it. Lean into the work. What most of us do, we try to back away from the work. And don't get me wrong, it is not easy to lean into the work. It is not easy to look in the mirror and not like everything you see. Nobody in this space has it together. Not even me. No one. And if you realize that no one's got it together, we can stop putting energy into trying to look like we've got it together, and we can take that energy and put it into something that's actually going to have a big impact on you and make the world a better place to be. So if you're in some work, I'm telling you, lean in. I thought when my husband fell off the roof of that house, that was going to change him. This will be a defining moment for him. He'll figure out that he's got to slow down a bit. Nothing. Hasn't changed a thing. What it changed was me. And it wasn't until I actually came home from that crazy trip and just started walking. I love walking in the hills around I live in the Okanagan, so if you're from the Okanagan, we've got hills everywhere. You can walk on trails everywhere. I realized what it actually felt like to actually lower the cortisol levels in my body and create a space to just be. I jokingly say whenever I hike, especially in hills, I hike up with God and down with the stones. Right? Always in my head on the way up and down with music. And creating a space to just be is one of the best things you could do for yourself. It's a must-do, actually, for your own resilience. You've seen the change cycle, but all I wanted you to look at is the discomfort and the discovery part of this change cycle. The work is discomfort. It's not easy. It doesn't feel good to lean into the work. But if you lean in, you come through it way faster, with more grace, and you'll be re-energized and re-inspired, and all those things have always been there in discovery. You just haven't seen them until you lean into it. Does that make sense? So whatever it is, this is just an experiment we're on, by the way. This little thing we call a journey of life, it's just an experiment. Lean in. So, 7 quick tips. First of all, how bad am I doing? Great. Okay, 7 tips. I know you guys had talked about resilience. If anybody needs this talk, you do. You put it all out there. You do nothing but put it out there, put it out there, put it out there. But you got to be able to manage your energy and your own resiliency so that you have some for yourself to even enjoy the other parts of your day when you're not just putting it all out there. Number 1 is movement. The most exhausting thing we've done since you've been here, since Sunday, is what? Sit. It's exhausting to sit. So we need to get, and the soapbox I've been standing on for most of my career, because I used to, before I became a speaker, I worked for Participation. Remember them? I ran around. I mean, truthfully, it's a soapbox I've stood on for years. I don't care how you move your body. You just need to move your body. You just need to think in terms of, I need more oxygen in my blood system moving through my body more often. That's it. However you do that, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're a golfer, a gardener, a walker, but every time we have the opportunity, should I take the elevator or should I take the stairs? Should I take the escalator? Should I take the stairs? What you're actually choosing is, as I age, do I want to be in a care home or on a cruise ship dancing? That is our decision we're making every time. So, move your bodies more. Number 2, sleep. Tough to talk about sleep, but especially if you're working shift work. It's really, you know this. You've probably done massive amounts of things around sleep, but I'll just say this. There's a few things you can do to get better quality sleep. You need to sleep in a very dark room. You need to sleep in a very cold room. Actually, 62 to 64 degrees is a pretty cool room. You need to sleep in a quiet room. And you need to sleep naked. Because your clothes wake you up. It's the truth. And because the work you do, you need good linen. You need a good thread count. So, I don't care, and it doesn't have to cost you hundreds. Well, it can, but go buy yourself some good sheets. End of story. I'm clear on that one, right? You deserve it. Number 3, laugh. The reason you're my favorite audience is because you come to laughter very easily. Believe me, not everybody does. Because you see people coming into this world, you see people going out of this world. You see the whole gamut of human, right? But you laugh, because if you weren't laughing, what would you be doing? Crying. Even in the craziest parts of our lives, even if right now you're in the heartbreak of your life, laughter is the best bridge into healing. There's humor everywhere. I don't need to convince you of that. You see it all the time. You see the quirky, the odd, the crazy. Boy, I like partying with my nursing girlfriends. Oh my God, I hear the greatest stuff. Oh my God, it's fantastic. This is my motto in life. If you're going to make an impression, it might as well be a stain. I've made a lot of stains. I've made a career out of embarrassing myself. I don't care, because last night was a hoot. I don't know. It was like, that's the best flipping thing. I've said that to so many people. I'm definitely throwing a hat party, because it's just a little bit of permission to kind of throw it out there. You know what I mean? It's not full of face makeup. It's just like perfect. It's perfect. Now, not this is really funny, but I do a lot of work in Nepal. Has anybody been to Nepal? I run a charity, and we rescue girls out of child labor and put them in school in Nepal, and been doing that for about 12 years. Anyway. First time I went to Nepal, I was speaking for Ontario Hydro as soon as I came home, so I took this picture thinking, that's pretty funny. I thought they would think that's funny. But last year, I took my sister to Nepal with me for our last year's project, and I took this picture. And I thought that's funny because people go, well, why is my Wi-Fi down? I don't know, let's get some hot bread. I mean, really? See, that's funny to me. It's quirky. So I take my sister, my older sister, Diane, to Nepal with me. She's never been out of Canada. And I kept saying, it's going to be great, it's going to be great, it's going to be great. And this picture, hot shower, I've never once, if you've been to Nepal, I've never seen hot water once. I don't know, they advertise it all the time in all these different places. Even in the restaurants, look, you can get hot showers, Wi-Fi, and an STD. I said, wow. That is a full service menu. And that's funny, right? So I'm laughing at this. My sister, more conservative than me, so what a surprise. And she goes, Linda, because she's always been saying, Linda, shh. She's been shushing me since I was like 3. And this Australian sitting next to her, he goes, look at love. He goes, you can get international STD too. I said, that is fantastic. I said, I'm in Nepal. It better be international if I'm getting one. But look at, ladies get more water pressure. What's that all about? It's kind of sexist. That's sexist. So if you laughed at that, which most of you did, you are healthier right this second from just a few minutes ago. That's what laughter does for us. It makes us healthier, more resilient. Honk if you love Jesus. Text while driving if you want to meet him. And this next sign, the lady who works in the office at this church did not know what she was putting up when she put it up. Staying in bed shouting, oh, God's not the same as going to church. Yeah. Oh, you're my favorite audience. I was driving to London Drugs, and 15 minutes later, it was down. Norma, people are calling. You should take the sign down. It's so good. Number 4 is clarity. What do you want? Like, really, what do you really want? Because we need some clarity. You want to know why we pile so much stuff on our plates, by the way? Well, we keep on putting more things on the plate, because if we have all this stuff on our plates, we don't actually have to deal. We don't actually have to address the lean in part. I got so much going on, I can't possibly spend any more energy. No, we just keep putting it on. You know what? Intrinsically, as a kid, I knew it, but I didn't know what it was until I got older. Whenever the cucka would hit the fan in my parents' 57-year marriage, which it hits all the time, that's what marriage is, what did they do? They renovated. Whenever there's a big blow up, boom, new carpets. Big blow up, boom, new cabinets. Says the woman who married a builder and has moved 28 times in 32 years. Lots of distraction. So I'm going to ask you, if you've got a pen, humor me here. I'm going to ask you 3 questions. I want you to write down the answers real quick, real simple. I'm going to give you a takeaway here, some clarity. Because once we declutter, we get a little more clear. There's some space to even think. Okay. I'm the genie, and I grant you 1 wish. Anything you want. But you can't wish for more wishes, and you cannot wish to take away someone else's free will, which means if they don't love you, you can't make them. All right? But other than that, anything's open. Write down the answer. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. Don't overthink this. You already know what you want. Put it down. Intrinsically, you already know. Number 2, you need to see yourself. So, Shazam, you've got that wish. You've got it. You have to see yourself within that wish. What are you doing? What's your life like? What's your day-to-day like? What are your surroundings like? You got to see it, sort of feel it, be in the wish. Okay? Put a little descriptor there beside what the wish is. That's number 2. Number 3, you've got the wish. You can see yourself in the wish. What does all that make you feel? What's the emotion attached to that wish? And jot that down. Might be 1 or 2 emotions attached to that wish. So the real answer to the question, I'm the genie and I grant you anything you want, the real answer is the 3rd thing you just put down there. That's what you really want. You want to feel that. Whatever that is for you. It might be peace, it might be happiness, it might be bliss, it might be, freedom, it might be, whatever your word is, whatever you've written down there, that's what you want. But here's the deal. That is an intrinsic driver for you. This, by the way, is your undercurrent. This is what gets you out of bed in the morning. You want this emotional state, whatever that is for you. It's an intrinsic driver. It does not come from extrinsic things. And if you want that thing, that 3rd thing, emotional state, you can have it right now. Maybe you don't believe me, but truthfully, what I want you to do as you leave this conference over the next couple of days through the weekend, try and make all your decisions based on getting you towards this feeling. What you eat, where you go, whether you remove your bodies or you don't, just make your decisions based on trying to get to this place that you just wrote down there. And that is as much clarity as you'll need, to be honest with you. We could do more digging, but... So, essential number 5, creating spaces to just be. Whatever that looks like for you. It could be soaking in your bathtub. It could be going for a walk outside. It could be in meditation. It could be in prayer. Whatever that is for you. To just allow your mind to just percolate a bit. Without distraction. Just open up. Okay? Intentionally creating spaces to be. This is critical for your own resilience. And number 6. Contribution. Giving back. Somewhere. Somehow. I don't care. And by the way, if you're a volunteer-aholic in this room, you got to kind of pull back from some of that. Because some of you are volunteer-aholics. I used to be one. But we get to a point in our lives where we go, okay, now what? What has some meaning for me? And for me, it was Nepal. And the only reason I went to Nepal is because my girlfriend was a teacher. She was working there. And one day she says to me, Linda, she goes, the girls between 6 and 12 get sold for $35 a year. And off they go. And she says, if I give you some scarves from Nepal, you take them to one of your events, maybe we can raise a few $100 and we could actually rescue some of these girls, get them in school. That's 12 years ago. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of girls later, about 1,200 of their mothers we've educated. Like, if I would have known back then what we've become now, I probably would never signed up because I don't think I could have handled the vision. You know what I mean? But I just kept taking one bag of scarves to every event I went to, one bag of scarves, and holy mackerel. And the lady, Michelle Bonneau, my girlfriend, who's a teacher, this June is getting the Order of Canada for that work in Nepal. I know, amazing. So I'm really not a speaker. I'm actually a scarf saleswoman. That's what I actually am. My entire office, that's all it is scarves. And Nepal. And we bribe our girls with bikes because them getting a bike in grade 8 keeps them in school. We don't want them to get married too soon. They get married very young in Nepal, and we bribe them with bikes. That's like us getting a car coming out of university. And that's my oldest daughter, Chloe. And, you know, if you want your kids to figure out that they have way more in the tank than even they believe they do, take them to a developing country. It's just awesome. And we go twice. We're going again in November. Anybody wants to come, we're going to work. We will dig and we'll do rocks. There's no backhoes there. There's not even wheelbarrows there. It's just you work your butt off. It's hard work, but it's the best damn good beer you've ever had at the end of that day. I'm telling you, every day we usually put in about 10, 12 days, and then we go hiking. We built that yellow building in the back, all donated. Most of that stuff actually came from volunteers out of Kamloops, and solar panels all came out of Kamloops. Anyway, it's just amazing what we've done. That's our vocational center that we do all of our training with the mums. It's Michelle on the left, my big sister Diane, Dee Dee in the middle, and I'm the Miley, I'm the middle sister. And one thing about Nepal is that they celebrate way better than we celebrate. They celebrate everything. They dance for everything. We need to celebrate our benchmarks. So you know what? If you have a bottle of wine or a bottle of champagne, or maybe if you're not a drinker, you have a loose tea that you've been coveting, you know, just for that great day, you're going to actually have that great cup of tea. If you've got a bottle of wine and champagne that's sitting there waiting for something, drink it. You want to know why? They make this stuff every day. You can buy more. Celebrate. That's our sewing moms. They still use the pedal machines. We have all the power on the planet. They just like their sewing pedal machines. And these ladies, by the way, this is what education does. The only way we'll ever eradicate poverty on the planet is through education. Because once you open their minds, it's a bit of literacy and a bit of numeracy. The mums just took off. It literally was almost like an overnight. You're like, wow. I think they were ready, but it was just perfect timing. These ladies wouldn't have even looked us in the eye 2 years ago. And it's awesome. Oh, we were in Nepal last year, and yes, Prince Harry was in Nepal. And so I said, it would be great if you dropped into Unico House, as we call her, Unico House. But anyways, that was the before picture, and that was the after. That's the best thing I ever did on Facebook. It blew up. I have friends in Kelowna that, isn't it great that Prince Harry came? I'm going, yeah, I don't have the guts to tell him that you actually wasn't there. Anyways, laughter and kids and moms, and I'm talking about independence here. This is the actual word of empowerment. Not that they're going on vacation, that they've gotten educated, but they have better food, and they have a nicer bed to sleep on the floor, of course. Maybe they have better pots and pans. Then they're just more independent, and there's less domestic violence because these women, when they come together, they support each other, and that's what empowerment really is. They stand for each other, and these ladies would never have taken this picture without that scarf around their neck because they're quite conservative when you're in Nepal. And the last one, essential for resiliency, is your level of gratitude. Now, gratitude is a practice that takes practice. Do you know that they've proven that just searching right now, something to be grateful for, just a search, she's almost done. Shoots off all the beautiful endorphins into your system. You feel better and you feel happier, but it's a practice that you need to be reminded to practice. So I journal every day, in the morning and in the evening. And where's that guy that said I looked beautiful last night? Is he in the room? I journaled about him. I said, someone said I look pretty. It's great. What's his name? Hardev. He's not here. Oh! You're in my journal, buddy. I'm very grateful. Namaste. So what do you do when you're we got to get out of our heads. We stay so much up here. And you know, what do you do when you're overwhelmed and all we are is in our heads? You have to actually launch. I love this cartoon. Where do you start? Just pick one flower stand and start there. Just pick one drawer, take your purse, clean up your car, your desk. By the way, everybody clean up your desk. Don't argue, just clean it up. Organize it. One drawer, one shelf on your linen closet, just one thing. That clarity alone, that decluttering, it just opens us up. If you would like a copy of Breaking Busy, you can go to my homepage. It's right there. Just download it. It's electronic. It's right, and you can read all about my trip across Spain and my TED Talk. So this is a picture of my sister Diane. She had never been out of the country. She had never hiked in her life. And I told her 2 months before we left for Nepal, I said, you got to start walking around the block because you're not going to survive the flight. It's 28 hours to get there. It's going to mess you up. So she started walking around, right? So I said, well, we're in Nepal. We got to go do at least up to Namche, halfway to base camp of Everest. I've done base camp before, but I thought, she can get to Namche. I forgot about the altitude. I mean, you start the hike at 9,000 feet. Right? And you think you're just anxious. Oh, I'm just so excited. But no, it's actually the altitude's kicking in at this point. So she was complaining about everything, and rightly so, but I'm like, I was getting ticked. I was getting heck for everything. You're walking too fast. You can't hear anything. She doesn't really talk like this. You can't hear anything I say. My poles are heavier than yours. I said, yeah, because I spent 200 on mine. You spent 40 on yours. No, she actually said this. No one gave me any instructions on how to wear these hiking boots. I'm like, oh my God. And on the last day, she has a full-on meltdown panic attack. You ever seen one of those? I'm sure you have, yes. Full on. She wasn't even making words. She was like, she wasn't even speaking. And I became a 1975 basketball coach. Remember them? They weren't very nice. I'm like, get your shit together. I said, you're a TELUS executive. You've been here for 38 years solving problems. This is just a problem that needs to be solved. Now I can put your butt on a horse or you're going to walk out of here. What is it? So, of course, what did she do? Walked out of there. And you should see her now. She's walking all up and over the... She's my favorite boots are my hiking boots. I'm up and down. We're going back to Nepal next year. Absolutely. And I realized it was like blinded. You don't get courage before you go do something. You get it after. Confidence doesn't come to you prior to you walking into something. Confidence comes after you've walked into it. So whatever it is you want to get done here this year, right? We're coming into what I call is the long, long weekend. Right? That's April 15th to October 15th for us Canadians. The long, long weekend. We do everything we possibly could do in these months till we have to hunker down, save our energy, and gain weight till the spring again, right? So here we are. Just get into it. Lean into it. And choose to be more alive this summer, please. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's very sweet. Okay, I'm going to put you all in the journal.
Linda, stay here.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Very sweet.
So I just want to thank you, Linda. You told me to share, so I'll tell you that I'll share. I'm a Leo just like you. My son will be thrilled to know there is someone who talks more and with more volume than I do, so that's great. We heard from the seniors advocate earlier in the week, and she put up 2 seniors. There was Jane and Annie. We all know she's Annie. We've got it. She's Annie. That's it. We've got it. Thank you for teaching us about resiliency and the need for laughter. It was wonderful. What a great way to end our afternoon. Thank you so much.